Hi. Have you recently started a job hunt journey or may be curious about what the landscape looks like for 2024, specifically in the tech space? Well, I've recently been laid off from my engineering manager role and just recently started my own journey. This video documents the first week of that process. It shows you some tools that I've used, some strategies I've deployed, and also walk you through the psychological adjustments I had to make as I handled going through this impactful change. I'm hoping that this video can be a survival manual for anybody going through the same thing. So if this interests you, please keep watching. Welcome to Like Leading Cats. I'm Kat. I have over a decade of experience in the tech industry. I'm hoping that this channel can help people who would like to learn more about corporate leadership, teach about process optimization to make sure that teams are performing to their best of their abilities. I'll also be walking you through my job hunt journey. Please subscribe to this channel if this is something that interests you. So the first thing I did when I was surprised with the announcement of my layoff was to dust off my resume. I had been working on it on prior years, but this was a chance to really put in all my efforts into optimizing my resume. The first thing I did was look for a template that would make my resume stand out in an ocean of resumes we're currently already on the market. So I went to Google Docs, and as you can see here, Google offers a few boilerplate templates. I ended up picking this one here, and I picked this one because it gave us two columns, and I find that that allowed me to fit more into a single page. In speaking with some peers, we came to a consensus that the amount of experience that I have and the time I have in the workforce, expanding my resume to 2 pages is probably okay, but probably shouldn't go any further than 2 pages. So this was my strategy to make sure that I could fit as much as possible into a single page. I won't be showing you my real resume, but this is the template that I used. Next, I'll be honest, I used a lot of AI to help me with the content of my resume. I wanted to make sure that when I was listing my experiences, that things were just written in the most polished way possible, most succinctly as possible, and in a language that made me look knowledgeable and as professional as possible. I will say though, I'll talk more about this in the upcoming weeks of my journey, but I think AI is really predominant right now in the market. So it's starting to be really apparent when somebody's used AI. So I think it's important to be cautious about how much AI you're using. I do find that as I read documents, I can see when there's a lack of authenticity, and I can kind of tell when somebody's used ChatGPT to write the content. So while it's tremendously useful, I think it's important to be cautious about how much you're using it and making sure that you're still embedding your own voice into this content to make sure you're still being authentic. So my first stab at applying to jobs was through LinkedIn. I will show you here an interesting tool that I uncovered as I signed up for the premium version of a LinkedIn account, and I found at least one really useful resource. And this was as part of the application process for jobs within LinkedIn. I was able to make use of their AI capabilities. So if you go to the jobs tab of LinkedIn here, you can see some open requisitions. Because of my experience and my previous roles, LinkedIn kind of has this list fine-tuned to my needs. Roles where I'd be a top applicant, as well as roles where that might be a top choice for me based on historical data. So let's pick a role here. One thing that LinkedIn allows me to do is tailor my resume. So you can see here that there's a list of requirements, required experience, required skills. So I will have LinkedIn tailor my resume to best fit this open requisition. So I can select work with an existing resume, and I have a resume on file already. So it's parsing my resume and also parsing the list of requirements for the requisition, and it'll give me some recommendations here. At that top right column, you will see qualifications that I possess that match that requisition, but also some suggestions on what I can add to make me an even better match for the role. And for each of these sections, I can select the AI assistant to a more granular level, refine the verbiage to match the requisition. One thing that I see a lot here as AI makes recommendations on resumes, they like to point out that employers like seeing numbers as metrics for outcomes of work that you've done. So here, for example, improving delivery speed of critical features by, and then a percentage value, also expanding the company's analytics offerings by, and then a certain percentage. And I find that this can provide impactful bullet points if you're really trying to impress the employer and give them a solid sense for the measurable value that you've added to your team. These data points are important. Again, like I said previously, as I use ChatGTP, for example, to help me write the resume, I do find that it's important to add your own voice to the content and make sure that it reads authentically and isn't too obviously AI generated. I find that you still need to make it read and feel human. My takeaway is that these tools are useful, but they're part of the process and shouldn't be the only tool you're using to tailor your resume. My favorite tool that I found as part of this process was the software called Milanote. It gives you these whiteboarding templates that help you put things together, like project plans, storyboarding, mood boarding. It's really cool, and I think visually it's something that really appeals to me. So I created a job search board here. And you can see I have my resume here, I have networking column, and I have a jobs column. For this networking list, I had some key people that I figured would be helpful to reach out to. Some of them are old bosses, some of them are recruiters that I've had good luck with in the past. I also have a couple of women entrepreneurs whose brains I wanted to pick as I considered maybe setting out to do my own thing and take my own path as my future career plan. I put together some materials for studying. I also, for tasks, the template here gave me a very basic checklist for tasks and needed something a little more robust. So I created a Trello board instead. I'll show you that in a second. But yeah, here for jobs, I'm organizing the open recs that I've applied for. I've got a company name, the position title, link to the requisition, status of the application, and the date in which that status took place. Also, as part of a journaling process, I put down some side hustle ideas. I compiled a list of job boards where I could potentially be finding roles. I also put together a document with my monthly expenses as I am dealing with a new budget as my income changes. I put together a journal just to gather my thoughts and experiences as I'm going through this layoff process. And I also have this job hunt vlog board where I'm doing some storyboarding for these videos that I am putting up here on YouTube. I also put together this mood board for this game that I'm developing. I'm really excited about this. I'll be making a dedicated video just to this, but just wanted to show you here that Milanote also gives you a mood boarding template, which is really fun. So I'm on the free plan for Milanote. It's like a freemium service. If I do refer people and people sign up as a result, I get some more space to create more boards. So I'll leave this link in the description. And if you would like to try it out, you can use my reference and I'll get a little more space. And hopefully it helps you with your productivity as well. So this is my Trello board. This is for more robustly tracking my task items. It's essentially a Kanban board, and it's the way Trello does it. It allows you to customize your board quite a bit. I ended up keeping the columns as they are, but you can rename the columns whatever you want. You can really customize all of it, and I think it has a really nice user experience, so it definitely makes the process a little more pleasant. So next I want to talk about the psychological impact that being part of a layoff process had on me. I had to navigate dealing with an emotional roller coaster where I had to question a lot of beliefs that I had, and I had to really heal from the trauma, figuring out how to not take things personally and figuring out how not to place all of my self-worth on having this career as much as had been a part of my life. I found that when I realized that I didn't need to get up and do my job every day, that opened up a lot of possibilities for me to really experience some really wonderful things. And that really gave me a very freeing feeling. But there can be a lot of anxiety involved in the process. Of course, there's a lot of uncertainty ahead, and it's really easy to dwell in the negativity of the unknown. I found that if I was able to honor those feelings, but put them to the side for a second so that I could be fully present in the moment to enjoy the positive moments, that was very helpful. And I think it was essential to my mental health and making sure that I didn't succumb to more negativity as kind of a black hole. I also found that this period of time felt like a detox of this kind of a obsessive feeling of walking into a room and thinking about what I do for a living, and that a societal obsession with, oh, what do you do? I found that I was in a way kind of addicted to that notion of walking into a room and saying, okay, this is what I do, this is my career, maybe even this is how much money I make, and then determining and trying to guess how people could treat me and how I compared to others based on my career. And it's a really vulnerable idea to admit, but I did find that because I was forced to fully decouple myself from that career as an identity, I was able to break out of that kind of obsessive thought cycle. And I find that if you've been continuously employed for all of your adult life, it's so easy to place all of your self-worth on your career performance. And the truth is, we as humans have so much more to offer to the world outside of what we offer to our teams on a career basis, on a corporate setting. It's really helpful to go through that process of decoupling yourself from the value that you add on your day-to-day job. And it helps you really put into perspective, what is it that makes you you, and what qualities that you have independently of what you do for work. Another trap that I found was really easy to fall into was a infinite thought loop of trying to make sense of the events that led up to the layoff and trying to figure out who were the people who advocated for me and who were the people who conspired against my future within the company, and actively working to release those thoughts, because I knew it wasn't going to be good for my mental health either. Thankfully, I have been doing a lot of emotional work on myself. This had been my first ever layoff, but I was prepared to let go of grudges and not let my mind go into that infinite loop of that mental sleuthing work to figure out what happened, and even try to figure out what I could have done differently to stop what happened. Really, I took the mindset of trying to see this change not as something that was happening to me, but something that was happening for me. Thinking about how this change could open possibilities for new paths, new opportunities, new growth, overall expansion opportunities, and looking at it through those lenses. So that's it for week 1. I'm currently on week 4 of my journey, so I'll be putting out videos for each of the weeks in retrospect. And already looking at this content, I can see a lot of lessons I learned throughout just these 4 short weeks. So if you're interested in seeing what those lessons are, continue to check in, and I'll be publishing these videos as quickly as possible. If you or someone you know has been impacted by a job loss in 2024, I'm sending you my sympathy and my support. I know that things out there in the corporate world, especially in tech right now, are very difficult, and the job market is very challenging as well. So if you're going through it like I am, I'm sending you good vibes and good luck in your journey ahead, and we're in this together. I hope to see you back here for next week's journal, and hope that this has helped you navigate this a little more smoothly. Thank you.